Hi, this is Carolyn James from Holistic Campus, and today I have with me a founding practitioner, Eva Goulette. Hi, Eva, how are you?
Hi, good morning. I'm
I
great. How are
wanted
you?
I'm glad everything's great.
Good.
I wanted to let everyone know. So you're an intuitive child mentor as well as a shamanic practitioner, which is just such a fascinating coupling, if you will. Can you tell us about that?
Well, I started studying shamanic work maybe 10 years ago, and I became fascinated with it. And as I deepened my shamanic practice, I realized that I really wanted to connect with children and bring some of these teachings to children. I've always loved working with children, and as I developed this passion for doing this work with children, I realized that I was getting downloaded messages from Spirit about curriculum that really needed to be developed and produced and brought forth into the world so children would learn how to connect to the essence of who they are, how to connect to Spirit.
What a beautiful
So
thing.
it's been an amazing journey, and I feel really blessed to be on it.
So you put together some programs, I understand, and actually a pretty incredible camp. Can you talk about
Yeah,
that
I would love to talk about that.
a bit?
So with Spirit's help, I ended up creating these programs for children that introduce them to shamanic journeying. It introduces them to their chakra system. They learn about energy, how to work with energy, and they also learn how to protect themselves energetically from bullying. They learn
Um,
techniques to nurture themselves. They create their own little book called My Breathing Book, which has techniques in it to help them when they're struggling with anxiety, anger, frustration. They can just go to their breathing book and pick out a technique that they've learned, and they can nurture themselves and help them get through a difficult situation. So basically, the essence of all of the curriculum is teaching the children how to connect to their inner world, the essence of who they are, how to trust the information that they're getting once they have learned how to connect to that, and then how to make decisions in their life going forward by always checking in with themselves first, assessing the situation, and learning how to trust their intuition. So kids are really learning how to connect to their intuition, honor their truth, and speak from their hearts.
what important work. I kudos to you for just for creating all of that and for allowing it all to flow. It's just kids are, they say kids are the future, and I know they've got to be coming in at a different level that we're at, I believe.
Absolutely. Well, when children come into this world, they're already connected to Spirit. And over time in our society, our materialistic world, that connection to Spirit fades away. Children who see spirits or can see auras are often ridiculed if they talk about it, and they're made fun of.
Mhm.
And then, so all of that gets repressed. And then in midlife, oftentimes, people have a spiritual awakening, and they realize that there are so many things they used to know when they were a child,
Mm.
and they've forgotten. And they spend years trying to undo the layers of conformity
Right.
that have been placed on them to get back to the essence of who they were as children. So my goal is to assist children in recognizing that they're connecting to their true essence in fun and playful ways, because it would be really boring if this was kids. But the curriculum is all about games and playing and having fun and singing songs that really help the child connect to who they are. So as that child grows and develops, my goal for them is that they stay connected, they learn how important that connection is. And there's actually research that's been done that shows that when children are exposed to work like this when they're young, by the time they become teenagers, they're 40% less likely to act out with drugs and alcohol because their amygdala has already been stimulated by this work that they've done as children.
Oh.
And when teens are acting out with drugs and alcohol, it's because they're trying to stimulate, unconsciously, the amygdala to help them feel connected to something. So this work, this work is
fascinating.
Yes, this work is really important. And, we're human beings that are made up of mind, body, and spirit. But children are growing up with society, our society in particular, worried about nurturing their minds and their bodies. And who's helping them nurture their spirit? I mean, it's almost like a taboo subject, but this has nothing to do with religion whatsoever. It's just about acknowledging and nurturing a part of us that most of our society doesn't dare to touch because people hear spirit and they're like
Do you feel that taboo is changing? I see it. Maybe it's just those that I hang around with, but I see so much of that just shifting.
It is shifting. In fact, a lot of the curriculum, or I won't say a lot, some of the curriculum that Spirit helped me create and produce and bring forth in this world is now being taught to teachers so they can understand how to bring this into their classrooms so they can help their children connect to who they are, which also helps them keep the energy level in the classroom down. When children are grounded, they're in their bodies, and the energy in the room just comes down. So I have developed workshops for teachers and caregivers as well. So I think there is an openness to learning this stuff. Right now, there's still a little tiny bit of hesitation because some of the curriculum is really about connecting children, their spirit, to a greater spirit, and connecting to all that is. And that's still a little taboo for public schools, but it's very accepted now in a lot of circles. Moms and dads who understand and practice yoga or meditation or mindfulness, they really understand the importance of having their children connect to the essence of who they are, which will give them a really solid foundation for growing up as really healthy, connected adults who hopefully are not broken because they've learned how to nurture themselves and heal as they're growing.
And then hopefully if with all that opening, the critical mass will take over at some point. And I know I'm a big Greg Braden fan, and I know critical mass is the square root of 1% of the population, which is nothing. I mean, when you figure that out, it's really not much. So, just keep going, Eva. It's wonderful, wonderful work you're doing.
Thank you. If I may, I'd like to share a couple of stories of how children have actually impacted their families with teachings that they've learned through this curriculum.
Oh, please, go right ahead.
Well, as everyone knows, if there's a child that's really angry and frustrated and is just having a miserable day, and they're throwing things and angry, and there's just no way to soothe the child, it really creates an uncomfortable dynamic for everyone that's around that child at that time. Well, what families have discovered is that their child, having gone through Spirit Camp or taken some of the workshops that have been offered, has tools to help them shift from a really negative space that they're in to a more neutral space. A mom emailed me that her child just got angry and slammed the door and went in her bedroom, but came out a different child 20 minutes later. And when the mom asked what was going on, she said she took out her spirit toolbox, which is a box the children make on their first day, and they put all of their tools in it throughout the week at Spirit Camp. The child went to her spirit box and just started taking out some of the tools that she knew how to use, that she learned how to use at Spirit Camp, and was able to help herself get out of that angry, frustrated space she was in. Oh. So this really does change the dynamic in entire families. And there was another family that sent a child through spirit camp, and this child learned that her power animal is owl. Now, I didn't know it when the child went through spirit camp, but this child had severe anxiety at night about going to bed because she feared she would die in the middle of the night. So once the mom explained that to me, we came up with this little ritual the child could do, and we wanted to see if it would work. So after the bedtime routine was over at night, stories, hugs, and kisses, we had the child take the rattle that she made in spirit camp and rattle to bring in the essence of owl. And she asked owl to stay at the foot of her bed during the night and to wake her up in the morning. And we suggested to her that if owl took this responsibility away from her and took it on as her spirit helper, that perhaps she would be able to sleep better. And from the first night on, that child rattled to call in the spirit of her owl, and she trusted that animal spirit because she had been working with it in classes and programs that we had done together. So the bedtime routine in that house was completely altered just by the fact that this child knew how to connect to a spirit helper to help her through the anxiety.
And what a wonderful thing for her to be able to take with her.
Yes. And another child was a little bit older, and her mom was really concerned about her. She was hanging out with a really rough crowd, started hanging out with a rough crowd, and was starting to cut. And her mom decided to send her to spirit camp. And throughout the week, I got emails from the mom saying, I don't know what's happening, but my child is smiling. And she was participating 100% in every activity at the camp. So I wasn't seeing the unhappy child that the mom was used to seeing, but the child was learning tools to connect to who she is throughout the course of the week. And the last ceremony we did, the closing ceremony in that particular camp, was a fire ceremony, and I had taught children how to release some negative experience they had had into the fire through the process of this whole thing that took us all day to create. Well, the next day, the child's grandmother had a stroke and was not going to survive, and she was the caregiver for the family. So this was a really huge event, and the mom texted me that she was fearful that the child was going to start cutting again. And then she emailed me a while later and said that she was writing through tears because her daughter, instead of cutting, said, Mom, we need to create a fire ceremony for Grandma. And each of us are going to write a letter to her and read it around the fire, and then we'll burn it. And the smoke will carry our words up to heaven, so when she does die, she'll have letters from all of us waiting for her. I know, it's a beautiful story. And the mom said, I know now that she has tools and she's going to be okay. She's going to be able to figure out how to help herself get through difficult situations now. And that kid's a really happy, healthy teenager now. So the work that Spirit has trusted me with and gifted me with to bring forth into this world is really impacting in profound ways the children that are taking or attending these camps and workshops. It's profound.
That's beautiful. And I know we're going to do a little work in a little bit. We get to see a little bit of what the classes are like. I look forward to that.
Yes, and the class that I am going to show you a little bit of is called Chakra Shenanigans, and
I love that name.
it's a really fun class too. It really sets the tone for the class. And after a particular child took Chakra Shenanigans, she was 5 years old, and she went to school for the first time full day this year. And after school, she told her mom that a friend was poking fun of her at lunch because she was crying. And her mom said, well, how did you deal with that? And she said, Mom, I was fine. I know how to zip up my chakras. So zipping chakras is a technique that I teach children in the chakra class and in the Protecting Yourself from Bullying class, and this child at 5 years old immediately made that connection when she was experiencing something that was uncomfortable or she felt safe, and she zipped up her chakras and she was fine.
She went.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we move on?
Just that I am really grateful to be bringing forth this work and working with the children. I feel like they are my teacher as much as I am theirs.
Oh, yes.
And that we're all learning together.
Mm.
And this curriculum and the programs that I'm birthing into the world are just coming through me. I'm just a vessel for them. So I'm really excited to see what Spirit wants to bring forth to expand these teachings for children.
It'll be interesting. It'll be a great journey and so necessary. And thank you for doing it.
And may I ask, are you going to be on this interview? Are people going to be connected to my website? Oh, it'll be on my page, right? On Holistic Campus. Okay, so people can connect, because I would love parents to have an opportunity to explore if Spirit Camp is something that might fit into their lives next summer.
Yep, and they will know where to find you.
Yes, thank you so much, Carolyn.
Thank you, Eva, and we'll talk in a sec.
Okay, thank you.
Mwah.
Mwah.